With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back trackside once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, the iSplash Retro Kart Series fires things off for round number 10 here in season number 3. A little anticlimactic in the championship standings. Rick Raven going to victory lane last week at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Lobster 65. He's gonna take the championship hardware home with him with 3 races remaining in the schedule. It's all about the best of the rest. We'll get into some of those point standings here in just a few moments as drivers already on track here in qualifying. We're gonna get set to set the stage for the Grand Prix at the Glen here tonight. You can see it's the classic boot 3.3 miles of racing action here tonight from Watkins Glen International Speedway. What a night it's gonna be. How you doing? How you feeling? out there in TV land. Race fans, glad you could all join us here tonight. As always, Dave of the Cave bringing you all the calls from trackside. And speaking of trackside, we're going to continue to take some looks from around this beautiful sprawling course in upstate New York. A lot of race fans very familiar with this track, whether you're into the Formula One style racing. Formula One used to race here back in the late 80s. Hence the Retro Kart Series being here. NASCAR's been here for quite some time. The IndyCar guys, you even got some MotoGP coming on track here at the Glen. So a lot of racing action here on this beautiful racing circuit. And with just about 5 minutes remaining in qualifying, drivers trying to chase down the quick time here tonight and qualifying top of the speed charts. Fast time belongs to Rick Raven in that one machine. Once again, Raven looking for yet another pole position. Will he be able to take the Blonde Bullet Pole Award here tonight? You can see 7 minutes on the stopwatch for these drivers to try to dethrone Raven at the top of the speed charts. Sean Langton, he hasn't been on track in quite a while. Nope, we've got one going around in hard impact here in qualifying. Hard impact, I believe that was. We're going to take a look on who that was. I believe that may have been Marcellus Bruning, possibly with a big hit there. He's going to try to fix the machine to get back out there on the track as quick as possible. Long way to go here tonight. Over 90 miles of racing. I believe it is 30 laps. Here tonight from the Glen, 3.3 miles of racing action, and it looks like the speed chart's pretty close out there. Rick Raven showing the way. 1:31.60 is the fast time here for Raven. Sean Langton just a 31:68, so right under a tenth separating your top two here in qualifying. The only driver yet to put in a time lap, Michael Lemonzik in that 70 machine. We'll see if he gets his Lotus out there on the track. A lot of drivers utilizing this time as a little bit of an extended happy hour, trying to throw things at the car and see if it will translate into some race pace. Austin Dabbs in the field, just outside of your top five, back in the 7th position. Now, we said we were going to get into some of those point standings, and we're going to do so right now. We're going to take a moment and run down some of your point standings coming into tonight's race. As we already said, Rick Raven locked up that season hardware with the race win last week from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but a big battle for second. Marcellus Bruning and Chris Brown, just about 7 points separating these two drivers. A lot to be made up for them, as well as Ryan Freeman sitting just about 20 points back from that second place. So second, third, fourth, all over each other. You can count Bill Smitham, Jason Crumley in the mix as well. Wade Cheetah in the 7th position overall in the point standings. He is only, it looks to be about 30 points back. And with 3 races to go, a total of 66 points out there. So it's possible for Rashida to make up enough points to get to that second position in the overall point standings. It's going to take a little bit of misfortune from a handful of drivers in front of him, but still mathematically in it for that second position. How about Theo Schleret? Schleret not here in the field here tonight, so he's going to drop outside of the top 10 at the end of tonight's race. 1 win to his back pocket. Schleret very fast last season at the tail end of the season. Very fast on the road courses this season. Just unfortunate luck at Long Beach in Indianapolis Motor Speedway as well as Milwaukee for Schleret. So a tough little season here for him. Johnny Hamby still with an outside mathematical chance to get inside of the top 15 as well. So a lot on the line for a lot of drivers still in this field, but make no bones about it, Rick Raven He's not just going to park this thing and walk away from the track already. He is absolutely still digging out there, still looking for race wins. 6 wins on the season. What a dominant performance here in season number 3 for that number 1 machine of Rink Ravenhill Park. His Lotus at the top of the speed charts for the time being. Quick time belongs to the 1A 1:31:60. Driver's going to have just a handful of moments here. As you can see, 2.5 minutes remaining on the stopwatch for these drivers to try to dethrone Raven at the top, but I don't think anybody's going to have anything for him. Johnny Hamby with a good, solid qualifying effort. He'll start his RCA 15 machine back in the 3rd position as the time being. Marcellus Bruning back in 4th. Bill Smitham rounds out your top 5. And with 2 minutes remaining on the stopwatch, drivers are beginning to be called back to pit lane. We've got to get set and ready for your pre-race festivities. So we're going to step away from the track for just a brief commercial break, then head back trackside for your national anthem. So don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be back with your starting lineup live from Watkins Glen International.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular the bombs bursting in air gave proof
In back trackside as drivers begin to make their way to their machines. We're going to get ready and set to fire things off here tonight at the Grand Prix at the Glen. Beautiful racing here at Watkins Glen in upstate New York in the I Splash Retro Kart Series. Qualifying in the bags, Jets have the Jets have flown over. We'll get it right. We promise. We apologize as well. Marcellus Bruning and the rest of the hungry drivers are ready to hit the track. So what do you say? We get a little closer to the racetrack as drivers get set to fire things off here tonight. Starting a lineup coming right at you as you can hear those familiar sounds in the background. You know, it's time to run down tonight's starting lineup for the Grand Prix at the Glen. Walking away with the Blonde Bullet Bowl Award. Top of the speed charts once again. Pole position in his back pocket. Rick Raven will lead the field to the green flag. The 30 of Sean Langton re-emerging on the scene, and Langton will start outside row number 1 from that second position. Marcellus Bruning in the 61 will start inside row number 2 with Johnny Hamby just to his outside. Bill Smitham, Steve Coubet back in row number 3, and in row number 4 here tonight at the Grand Prix at the Glen, the 2 of Austin Dabbs and the 5 of John Barry. Mike Zacher and Don York make up row number 5, and rounding out your top 10 back in row number 6 here tonight, the 37 of Chris Brown and the 83 of Jason Crumley. Finishing out the 14-car field here tonight, back in row number 7, inside of his 41 machine, Neil Canning will roll off in 13th. The 70 of Mike Lemonzik will round out your field here tonight for the Grand Prix at the Glen. What a race, what a night. Drivers begin to make their way from the starting grid. Rolling start here tonight. Get ready, because we're going to get some road course action coming your way here in just a brief few moments. Drivers head around the track for the first time in formation. We are ready and set to kick things off tonight. A little overhead look at Sean Langton as he starts in that second position just outside pole position. The Ford Mustang pace car will bring the field around at 60 miles an hour. Long race, long night for these drivers around this classic boot layout at Watkins Glen International, up over the hill, bypassing that bus stop, going through the carousel. Now we're reaching the back end of the course, and drivers are going to get set to fire things off here in just a handful of moments. Who you got, Chad? Who you looking at? Who do you think is going to walk away with that top spot here tonight? I can assure you it is going to be one heck of a night of racing action coming your way as we get set to get underway here tonight from Watkins Glen International. We're going to come back on to the main racing surface. Here we go up through the corners. Gonna exit the boot and go through NASCAR turns 10 and 11. We'll set these Lotus drivers free. back onto the familiar side of Watkins, Glen, for all you NASCAR 10 top heavy car fans. Coming through turn number 10, we'll reach the final corner. This time around into the pace car will duck off. We're going to get set to fire things off for the first time here tonight. From Watkins, Glen, you're watching the Grand Prix at the Glen. Pace car in, Raven to the line on the gas, and green flag flies. Green flag flies for the first time, and Raven out to a good jump over this entire field side by side. Bruni and Hamby for a moment. Bruni going to take that inside lane. Hamby going to utilize the run on the high side, switch it back across up through the S's. Good racing action behind him. Check out Steve Couvet and Mike Zacher and Chris Brown all going at it for a position. There you can see back in the field right here. Those two STP Penny Blue machines. Gotta watch getting those tires off into the grass. Can get pretty tricky and pretty slippery, and it looks like Rick Raven may have had some issues. Oh no, pole sitter, race leader with issues early here on lap number 1. We're going to go back to the front of the field with the new race leader, Sean Langton. We're going to wait for these drivers to sprint out just a little bit before we head back and take a look at what happened here with Rick Raven. He's still out there on the track, so Raven, not enough damage to stop his car. Possibly going to be looking ahead to come to pin road this time around. As things starting to stretch themselves out, gaps being developed. Langton leads Hamby by 0.6 of a second. Another half a second back to Marcellus Bruni running in third, as race leader Sean Langton going to lead the field off of the final quarter back across the stripe. Lap number 1 goes in the bag with new race leader Sean Langton out front. We talked about Raven having some issues. We're going to take a moment. Let's take a look here. What happened to Rick Raven? Oh, down into the carousel and a little bit of a lockup on the rear tires. He got super loose and, coming to a big slide just before those tire barriers. Fortunate break there for Raven, but up over that hill, just a little bit of a crest and on the brakes a little too hard, and Raven's gonna go around. And we'll head back to the front of the field with race leader Sean Langton. Another driver with some trouble here tonight inside of that 70 machine. Looks like Michael Lemonzig's going to have some trouble. Lemonzig's going to have some issues and go around. Let's go check in. Let's see the replay. What happened here with this 70? Looks like heading down the front stretch and down to turn number 1. That's going to be the culprit. Do we see another big tire lock up? And he's just going to blow the corner and into the tire barriers. That's going to leave a mark. Oh, and more trouble at the front of the field. Being the race leader is not the way to go. Chris Brown going to have some issues. Sean Langton an issue here on lap number 2. The 30's going to give up that top spot. Fall all the way back now to that 7th position. And look who's behind him. There's Rick Raven. So your top 2 drivers with early trouble here tonight on lap number 1 and lap number 2. And Langton's going to pull his Lotus to pit road. Dropping the timing and scoring over there to the left-hand side of your screen. Let you follow along and find your favorite driver out there tonight. Hamby picking up the pieces, and you can see the battle still raging on behind in the background. The 19 of Steve Couvet and the 55 of Bill Smitham continuing to go at it now for what is the final position of the podium. This is exactly what Bruni needs. Bruni needs another solid race to put second place a little bit more securely into his back pocket. I believe he's going to have to finish top 5 for at least the next 2 races or walk away with some max points. Unfortunately, max points out of the question here tonight after Rick Raven taking the pole position, so that's going to be 1 point that Bruni is not going to get, but still wanting to capitalize by leading the most laps and walking away with the checkered flag. We'll see if he's going to be able to accomplish it. Johnny Hamby showing the way right now, knocking on the door of a 1 second advantage as we head through the final corner and back across the stripe, this time by Johnny Hamby. Continues to show the way, and we're going to jump around the racetrack just a little bit. What do you say, race fans? Trying to bring you all of the action that we possibly can here tonight. Looks like John Barry and Don York, both of these drivers, are going to have some trouble. And more drivers with trouble, and it looks like the damage going to be too much for Sean Langton. His night is over. The 30 heading back to the hauler. Mike Zacher also to the hauler, so 2 drivers already down and out of tonight's race as we jump on board. Riding with the 19 of Steve Coubet, Bill Smitham right behind him. These 2 drivers absolutely throwing haymakers at each other. Close out of the corner there through the inside carousel. Smitham able to take that 3rd position away for the time being. Coubet hot on his trail, looking to fight back for that position. In comes Austin Dabbs into the mix. And with a long night of racing action still ahead of these drivers, you gotta ask yourself, if you're one of these guys at the front. Rick Raven had issues here tonight. One of the fastest drivers in the field. Sean Langton also with issues. Langton listed down and out of tonight's race in that 12th position. You don't have to worry about Langton getting back on track, but Raven sitting over 10 seconds back from Johnny Hamby right now with just 25 laps remaining. Gotta ask yourself, how hard are you willing to push it at the front? And Johnny Hamby, he's willing to risk it for the biscuit right now is what it looks like. There you can see race leader heading up through the S's and down the long stretch into the carousel. And the RCA 15 looks glued to the track here tonight. What a run, what a night so far for Hamby. Gonna pick up 3 positions from where he qualified. Biggest mover of the night, however, belongs to that 41 of Neil Koenig, up 6 positions from where he qualified, from 13th now to 6th, as he's going to take a position away from Austin Dabbs, who's had some trouble on the track. And Dabbs gonna require a tow truck, so a tough break here tonight for a handful of drivers. Already 4 retirements in 4 laps. Neil Koenig, latest driver with issues here tonight. He'll join the long list of drivers with trouble, as John Barry gonna be our 5th retirement of the evening. The number 5 Lotus team with some trouble here tonight. And I tell you what, let's go back. Let's check the iSplash replay. What happened with Barry? You can see that number 5 Shell Pennzoil machine off in the grass. A little bit of grass on the tires, and there it is. There's going to be the spin. And he's just going to have some troubles and a tough break here for Barry as he out onto the track and get the car well and clear of any traffic out there. So we'll stay green flag racing here at the Grand Prix of the Glen. Johnny Hamby, front of the field, beginning to fall into a bit of a rhythm, walking away with a 2.6 second advantage over Marcellus Bruning, running right here in that 2nd position. Another 5 seconds back to Bill Smitham, rounding out your podium here tonight, and Rick Raven, a good recovery so far. Raven back up to 4th. No damage on that one machine, so look for Raven to possibly try to run it long here. Or, well, he may even attempt the undercut. Only 12 seconds back right now, so the pit road delta still in his favor. He's got to be careful not to lose too much more time to race leader Johnny Hamby. Still that undercut alive for Raven. Will he try it? Steve Koubet right behind him in that 19 machine. Koubet with a good solid run here tonight. This is your closest battle for position on the racetrack. A 26-second deficit back to Chris Brown from these two drivers battling it out on screen right now. Rick Raven sits in fourth. Koubet hot on his trail and fifth. Continue to watch this battle as it starts to dissipate and go away. Raven, a little bit too much pace for the 19 to handle and stay with right now, as Raven begins to try to reel in Bill Smitham and regain a podium finish here tonight. We'll see if that one can salvage something here tonight, as we are down to just 22 laps to go. Race leader Johnny Hamby front of this field, showing the way back through that infield carousel. Bruning not really going away, but not really gaining any ground right now. Just kind of holding serve in that second position. Let's take a look at the man that walked into tonight's race, sitting in second in the overall championship standings, looking to solidify his season. Bruning walked away with the championship in season number 1. Johnny Hamby taking the hardware home in season number 2, and new season champion Rick Raven. And oh my goodness, we do apologize. A little bit of a coughing attack as we're still trying to work our way through some sinus infections and some allergies going on down here in the southern headquarters for the Turn 3 Racing Network. A bit of pollen causing some problems. And those of you that have been around for the past about a week have heard the struggle in the voice, and every now and again gotta mute the mic for a little bit of a coughing spell, so we do apologize, but we do appreciate you sticking with us here tonight from Watkins, Glen International. You're watching the Eye Splash Retro Card Series live, the Turn 3 Racing Network. If you haven't already, go ahead and join us in that push to 3,000 subscribers. Show these drivers some love and drop that thumbs up. Click subscribe and smash that bell. Over there on the right-hand side, get notified anytime We go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, David the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by. So while you're here, drop these drivers that thumbs up. Bruning with a big scare, 2 slides on the track, and Marcellus Bruning struggling a little bit here as we're under 20 to go here tonight from the Glen. Battle for that third and final spot on the podium beginning to heat up a little. Let's jump back here to Rick Raymond, who has closed in on the gearbox of the man in front of him, Bill Smitham, right there out front. I tell you what, let's jump on board here and ride with Raven. Opportunistic move down into the corner, and he's going to make the pass. What a pass. Great move there to put the machine right where he needed to be. Bill Smitham had no choice but to give up that inside lane, and Rick Raven has recovered and is now back into a podium position. Can the man that walked away with the Blonde Bullet Pole Award here tonight, can he get back to that top spot? 11.2 second deficit with 18 laps to go. He's gonna need to make up about, what is it, about 7/10 a lap. Still a long shot. Still able to be done, still within that undercut window of opportunity for the moment here. So we'll see what the strategy pans out to be for the one of Rick Raven and his crew. Let's jump back a little further in the field. We've got drivers battling with each other. Here you see Neil Caney beginning to have company. Jason Crumley and that Miller Light machine trying to run him down the 83, looking for 6th. Rounding out your top 5. Crossing the line this latest time around, race leader Johnny Hamby. If he can lead another 2 laps here, he will secure the most laps led award. Rick Raven still trying to run these drivers down, was over that 16-second mark back, but now has got it under that mark. And we'll see what the strategy is going to be. 3 drivers all ready to pit road. Neil Canning, Jason Crumley, and Chris Brown all to pit road for their green flag stops. We'll see when your race leader heads to pit road. Hamby continue to stay out on the racetrack as Marcellus Bruning gonna do the same. Rick Raven still sitting in third, still out on the track. Looking to see when he's gonna pull the trigger on this pit stop, man. with the speed he's got. I mean, he's got clean air right now. That's a benefit for that one for the time being. Nobody around him, doesn't have to fight for track position. He can put the car right where he wants it to be, and he's turning in lap times about 0.4 of a second faster than your race leader lap after lap. So indeed, cutting into that race lead, but I think he's going to need some help from a great pit stop. And with some of these drivers really liking the way the tires feel and the way the tires fall off throughout the course of the run, I wouldn't put it past someone like Raven, who's already got that season championship sewed up, to throw the kitchen sink at it. I mean, you got nothing to lose. You either throw the Hail Mary and you make it, or you come up short, and well, at least you're still walking away with the season hardware at the end of this thing. We're going to head to Miami next week, and then off into the final race of the season. And Johnny Hamby will pull it to pit road, this time by Marcellus Bruni. Will stay on track, and new race leader here at the Glen. Marcellus Bruni becomes our 4th race leader of the night in his Logitech number 61 machine. Bruni looking to somehow capitalize on drivers' misfortunes. Rick Raven pulls it to pit lane, this time by as well Steve Coubet. Gonna join the 2 and make it a trio down pit road. Bill Smitham and Marcellus Bruni left to make their green flag pit stops here at the Grand Prix of the Glen. 14 drivers started tonight's race. We are down to just 8 still out on track, with 5 on your lead lap. Bruning with a 15-second, make it almost 16-second advantage over Bill Smitham. That is close to half of that pit road delta. And here's what we were talking about, race fans. Johnny Hamby on and off pit road under 39 seconds. Definitely not a 4-tire stop for Smitham as Bruni, for Hamby, as Bruni gonna bring his machine to pit road. Here comes Bill Smitham back to turn number 10. Turn number 11 coming up here in a moment for this 55, and let's see what Smitham does. It looks like he's going to get on the binders and head down to pit road. Here we go, race fans. Johnny Hamby looking to regain that top spot. We'll keep our eye here on Hamby as he makes his way back down the front stretch. He's going to regain that top spot. Back at the front once again is the 15. Where does Rick Raven stack out? After all this green flag pit exchange is said and done with, Smitham heading into his box now. Will Raven have enough to leapfrog him? Yes, indeed he does, and he's been able to cut in to the advantage on Bruning, but unable to really reel in the race leader even with that quick stop of the night. And how about the run here by Johnny Hamby? Absolutely stellar performance here tonight. Just kind of waited in the wings, biding his time. Trumbull strikes your top 2 in qualifying, in your top 2 within the first 2 laps of tonight's race. Rick Raymond going to have some trouble on the opening lap and hand that race lead to Sean Langton in the 30, who had trouble on lap number 2, and then more trouble. Sin Langdon falling through the field and put Hamby in a perfect position, really. And here he is. 10 laps to go this time around. Just a little more than 30 miles of racing action remaining here tonight from Watkins Glen for the iSplash Retro Kart Series. If you're looking for some great open wheel action, look no further than this series right here. Old school tracks, old school cars, old school feel all around. Running those iconic tracks from the late 70s and all throughout the 80s. It is a barn burner of a season. It is an amazing series. If you're looking for some Friday night action, right here on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator, look no further than iSplash Retro Kart League. You can find them at Retro Kart Leagues on the internet, and you can also find them right there on iRacing.com under league directories. Hit them up with a driver application. Shoot these admins a request, and we'll see if you can rub elbows with these fast road course racers in these Lotus 79 machines as we wind down season number 3. Season number 4 right around the corner. Don't get left out in the cold. Hit them up on iRacing.com. Through the final corner and across the line once again with 9 laps now remaining. Johnny Hamby with a 7.5 second advantage over Marcellus Bruning, who has got a sizable advantage over Rick Raven, who sits back in that 3rd position. How about the run by this man, though? Let's give this guy some credit where credit is due here tonight. Inside that Axum number 19 machine, Steve Coubet with a solid run. No off-track moments here tonight for this 19. Gotta keep it clean and gotta keep it between the grass. If you're looking for some consistent laps, a little off of the fast-paced laps, the consistency being king here tonight from the Glen Hill dive to the inside of the 37 of Chris Brown. As Brown listed 1 lap down, back in that 8th position. At a tough little break here tonight for that 37, an early off-track incident. Lost him a ton of track time and a ton of positions. Tried to make up for it with a green flag pit stop undercut strategy, but unfortunately did not pay out for Brown, and he will be listed 1 lap down, running in the 8th position. No real battles to speak of, so what do you say we jump around to drivers inside of your podium positions off of the final corner and back across the stripe. This time around, 8 laps to go here from the Glen. Johnny Hamby shows the way. Just off of the final corner there, you can see him beginning to work his way down the front stretch and across the line. Marcellus Bruning sits in that 2nd position. Rick Raven will be coming around that final corner, and there he is, making his way across the line. A couple of lap machines behind him. Steve Coubet, 21 seconds back, so a good cushion here for your top 3 drivers, your podium drivers, with a lot of, let's see the word I'm looking for, comfort, maybe. Solidly in these podium spots. They just got to bring it home, and at this point in time, how much are you willing to push? Last time around, a 131.48 for race leader Johnny Hamby, a 132.30 for Marcellus Bruning, so almost a second faster, 1.3 seconds faster than Rick Raymond sitting in 3rd. So Hamby unrelenting right now, not letting up on his competition, and with only 7 laps to go this next time around. Just about 25 miles of racing action remaining here tonight at the Grand Prix at the Glen. And I don't know, if I'm Hamby, I may back this down a little bit. The trouble with that, right, we're all race car drivers. Or used to be, or still are, or weekend warriors, whatever you want to look at it, however you want to categorize it. When you get in that zone, when you get in that rhythm, when you're locked in, you don't want to change anything. You don't want to distract your brain. You don't want to lose that concentration in trying to start thinking about, okay, I can slow it down a little bit, which means I can get into this corner a little bit deeper, or a little bit this, or a little bit that, throwing yourself off from that rhythm, that internal clock that you get coming around these corners And some of these drivers utilizing a ton of braking markers, a ton of acceleration markers. Some of them with that just natural rhythm of on and off throttle, when to squeeze that egg beneath that pedal to the far right-hand side and giving it the go juice. And it looks like Hamby continuing his fast ways here tonight. Still the fastest driver out there on the track last time around by over 0.3 of a second. Rick Raven still giving it all he's got, but unable to run down Bruning for that second. Oh my goodness! Ooh. And that's what we're talking about right there, race fans. One moment is all it takes to change the complexity of the event and to change the outcome of your race. I'm sure that got the attention of your race leader, Johnny Hamby, because he dropped a full 1.5 seconds to Bruning, who is now only 7 seconds back in closing. Bruning continuing to close in here, and was that slide, that close encounter, enough to catch the attention of Johnny Hamby as he backed it off? Last time around, he's going to run almost a full second slower than Marcellus Bruning. So Bruning coming on strong late. Gap now under 6 seconds. That's going to be over a 2-second gain in the past lap for Marcellus Bruning. So has Hamby back to pace off while Bruning starts to hammer down. We'll see if they come together at the end of the... Oh, still running a little wide through that corner of that's the corner right there. We've seen a handful of drivers having trouble in happy hour earlier here tonight. Right there in that corner, when you leave the boot section of the racetrack and come back on to the familiar Watkins Glen layout. Hamby with a little bit of a struggle, and here it is. Gap under 4 seconds now with only 5 laps to go. Bruning could possibly steal this show. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, race fans? Over 8 seconds back with less than 10 laps to go, and you find yourself breathing down the neck of the race leader in just 3.5 laps. You're going to take almost 5 seconds out of that deficit. Marcellus Bruning, and he is on his way. Let's take a look. Let's take a ride high above the cockpit here tonight. There you can see Bruning making his way down into the corner. Gap just over that 4-second mark as Bruning starts to see that 15 a little bigger and bigger out of his visor, starting to run him down. Will he get there? We're going to find out in just 4 laps time as these drivers make their way around the final corner. Johnny Hamby going to come to pit road. Johnny Hamby to pit road. Oh my, that has changed the game. Marcellus Bruning takes over your race lead. And did Hamby not put enough fuel in the machine for his pit stop? That is all we can think about. No trouble on track for Johnny Hamby, so he may have been a little short on fuel. Man, oh man, how things have changed. Marcellus Bruning gonna inherit the race lead once again, go back to the point. Most laps led belongs to Johnny Hamby here tonight, but Bruning still looking to walk away with some very good points. Rick Raven right behind him, recovering well into the second position. Hamby going to be able to make that quick stop and get back out on track and in front of Steve Coubet. But only by about, it looks to be just a handful of seconds, about 8 or 9 seconds. So Coubet's going to have a bit of a miracle to take that final spot on the podium away from Johnny Hamby. But right now, Marcellus Bruning. Man, oh man, talk about being in the catbird seat when it's time. Bruning going to extend his first stint to lead a handful of laps, to lead 1 lap to be exact. And here he is. End of tonight's Grand Prix at the Glen, and he's going to take the top spot away back on lap number 4. And you don't have to lead them all. Heck, you don't have to lead but 1. And Marcellus Bruning may walk away from the Glen here tonight, getting that job done. Less than 10 miles of road racing action remaining here for these Lotus 79 drivers in the Ice Splash Retro Kart Series. Season number 3 slowly coming to a close as we get set to crown a race winner here tonight at the Grand Prix at the Glen. Marcellus Bruning picking up the pieces. Early trouble for race leaders, put Bruning in a good position to try to capitalize and to walk away with the race win, and he is right here with a 10-second advantage. He'll see popsicle sticks on display this time by. He's going to rejoin the NASCAR configuration here at the Glen, back into turn number 10. Turn 11, final corner. He'll come across the stride with just 2 to go. This time by Marcellus Bruning shows the way. Coming to the end of tonight's Grand Prix at the Glen, we came to the track tonight with 14 drivers eyeing a checkered flag. We are down to only 7 left on the track, with only 5 left on the lead lap. Bill Smith rounding out your top 5 and lead lap cars. A little bit over a minute behind Buffer 2 race leader Marcellus Bruning, who's making his way around the tight infield carousel. He'll come up over the hill and into the right-hander and begin to make his way back onto the NASCAR. Turn number 10. 4 miles of racing action remaining here in the Retro Kart Series, brought to you by Ice Splash. If you're looking for a livery, you need a suit, maybe a pit crew put together, look no further than Ice Splash. Back across the line, white flag flies, final lap here tonight for Marcellus Bruning, who heads down into turn number 1. Nice, clean, clear corner for Bruning up through the S's. Less than 3 miles remain. Can Bruning walk away with his second win on the season? And it's got to be a little bittersweet here for Bruning, walking away with a checkered flag here. He's going to gain a ton of points. If he can walk away with 2 more race wins, I mean, he will close right. He's already secured that championship hardware. How? I don't want to say disappointing or disheartening, but how troublesome could that be for a driver? You've been a season champion already. You give it everything you got each and every lap, and you still come up just a little bit short at the end of the season. Marcellus Bruning showing us why we race week in, week out, why we race every single lap like it is the last one. You never know what's going to happen. Bruning started in fourth, walking away right now with over a 9.5 second advantage into the final corner for the final time tonight. Walking away with the checkered flag in hand from the boss man in the flag stand, and Marcellus Bruning will park it in victory lane and walk away with the checkered flag here tonight. Rick Raven just behind him. There you can see that one machine with a great recovery here tonight as Bruning gonna burn it down for the fans in the stands down in turn number one. What a run here tonight at the Glen. There you can see Rick Raven coming in. Show him a little bit of love here tonight. Those two drivers kind of bobbing and weaving, waving at each other inside of their Lotus machines. What a night, what a race, what a run here from the Glen. We're going to step away for just a brief moment, get things set up and ready to go for your post-race interview, so don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be right back. And back trackside at the conclusion of tonight's Grand Prix at the Glen. Disappointment? None at all. Drivers laying it all out on the line. Early trouble here tonight for a handful of drivers. Some late race trouble for a few as well. And we're going to dive right in to your post-race interviews. Walking away with third here tonight. Battled for the top spot and led the most laps here tonight, walking away with the final spot on the podium. Inside of his RCA 15 machine, Johnny Hamby will finish out the podium here tonight after leading the most laps, and that's going to bring us right along the list, and we're going to see if we can catch up and have a few words with the man that walked away with the pole position And walking away with the second spot here tonight inside of that one machine, Rick, it's Dave. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, I'm all right. How you doing?
I could complain, but nobody would listen.
Oh, could
So,
I? Believe me,
you know.
today. Wow. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
What a race.
Well, you brought it out the bag, so we're gonna go ahead and address it. A little bit of trouble there on lap number one. A little more trouble. I forget the lap number, but a little more trouble later on tonight. But you were fast enough to make your way back up through the field. Is there anything? And not to sound rude or mean here, Rick. I mean, we've had our fun with each other. You're a lights out competitor. Is there any positives you can take from this race here tonight with as much trouble as you had?
Not really. No positives whatsoever. Everything was negative. It's all, and it's all downhill from here. I could see it. Oh man, everything just unraveled. All of my good luck turned bad, and I'm only kidding. Is there any positives? Well, after that first spin, I missed a shift. That's the problem with having a manual gear shifter, because every now and then you could miss a shift. Hey, it happens to the best of them. It happened to what's his name, the alien with the unbelievable speed. I forget.
Schleirette.
Oh yeah, Theo. It happened to him at Long Beach. As good as he is, it happened to me today, and I guess I went, sailing across the bump in the grass, and from that point on, the car was just so twitchy. I must have had some damage because I wasn't able to get the speed after that. Coming through the field was fun, but then we lost it again. I got it, in turn one over that hump, and once you hit bottom, going over the sort of rumble strip there. There's a good chance you're just going to go around. So I knew we were going to go around. As soon as the car started turning, I locked up the brakes, hoping I wasn't going to hit anything, and I just barely touched that rail. So I was dealing with a slightly damaged race car. I was hoping I would be able to catch up, but I was watching the relative, and it really wasn't going anywhere. I said, well, we lost our speed because of that, you idiot. So, that was my mistake, but I'm glad to see that Marcellus got his second win of the season. He deserves it. He puts on this league, so he deserves to win. I feel bad for Hamby. I guess he didn't get enough fuel in the car, but when I heard that he was pitting, I was like, oh wow, we're close enough to pass him. So we're going to pick up second here, and if only Marcellus would have made a mistake, we could have had our third win in a row here, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, you had some unfortunate circumstances. Other drivers having the same here tonight. Fortunately enough, you were able to pick up a handful of positions and still walk away with a good points day. You already got that season hardware coming in your back pocket in just 2 short weeks. So not a lot to be sad about. I know you still want to walk away with the race wins, but at the end of the day, you're still the season champion. So, Rick, congratulations on your second place performance here tonight in the pole position. Before we let you go, you want to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Nah, that's all right.
All right, we'll forget
Thank
all
you.
of them.
Bye bye. No, I'm only kidding. I forgot what I was going to say. I want to give a shout out to Vince Caruso. What's up, my man? How you doing, brother Vince? X Express. I was going to say something else and I forgot what it was. Darn it. Well, we had a good season and the pressure was off for the championship. I guess I performed better under pressure. I don't know. I was kind of relaxed out there, and maybe a little bit too relaxed. That's missing a shift. But I want to thank Mark. I want to congratulate him on his win tonight. And again, I feel bad for him because he really deserved it. He had the pace on the field. I couldn't catch him after that. But congratulations to Mark. And thanks for everybody for coming out, all the drivers out there, and everybody who's tuning in. Hello. Love you all. I love my wife. I love my kids. Zoe, Mila, I love you guys. And special shout out to Grim Ganassi. Hope you night, brother. Sorry we didn't pull off the win, but we'll be back next week at Miami at Homestead. Boy, is that going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, big oval track coming at you guys next week at my Homestead Miami Speedway. So until then, Rick, we'll see how you go. But as always, stay safe and keep it fast.
Hey, same to you, Dave. You know, it's going around the track. Hey, oh, and then now he comes around in second place.
All right, there you have it. Final few words from. Always a pleasure to talk to this guy. Rick is an absolute uh, wonderful person. Absolutely love getting to catch up with him at the end of these races. Always a bright spot, always energetic, and always joking, always having fun, even if it's poking fun at himself for some mishaps here tonight at the Glen. But as we already mentioned at the beginning of tonight's broadcast, walking away with the season hardware, so nothing to hang his head about. Rick Raven will finish tonight's Grand Prix at the Glen back in second, and that's going to move us right along the list and right into victory lane. We're going to see if we can't talk to the man that parted for the second time with the checkered flag in hand. Marcellus, it's Dave. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I gotcha. I gotcha. It took a little while for you to get this second one, but how you feeling after getting a second win here in season number 3?
So what really happened here, Dave, is that I went to downtown Reno to one of those fortune tellers, and she told me that if I paid an extra $2,000, she would put a curse on whoever was leading, and it worked because Rick Raven went off in the first lap, and then Sean Langton went off in the second. I guess this curse didn't really work very well on Hamby at first, but then it really worked anyway, and here we are. Very lucky. I wasn't faster than Hamby. I wasn't faster than Raven. I don't think I was faster than Sean. So yeah, I just got lucky.
Well, sometimes it's an old NASCAR saying, and well, I won't say old. I heard it about maybe about 10, 15 years ago. Is sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I'm not saying you're not good. Don't get me wrong here, Mark. You're one of the fast guys. You've got a season championship in your back pocket already. You've got multiple race wins throughout these first 3 seasons. So the talent, the speed is definitely there. But tonight you needed that horseshoe on board with you, and I think you may have had about 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just one of those days, everything that happened to those guys, it happens to all of us, every once in a while you just slap it in the wrong gear and there you go. Every once in a while you just overcook it and around it goes. It happens to all of us. I look back at this race. I was following Johnny Hamby in whichever position we were in, and I didn't really have anything for him, so I just kind of just set out to just try to be consistent, and that worked. I mean, I just looked at my lap charts, and I think I ran a solid race within the capabilities that I bring to the table. So, and again after that, I just needed a little luck, and it worked.
Well, Marcellus, we've got ourselves 2 more races here in season number